Hi guys, so today I'm going to do a video on something I haven't done before because I've been asked to make some videos that are a little bit different to my usual food and yoga and health, and it seems to be the ones that get the most views, so it seems like people are thirsty for me to talk about things that I normally only talk about with people that I think are ready to receive them, but I'm going to start putting a few up on different topics that are really about more sort of esoteric things, more supernatural things, and this is a big passion of mine, and it's also a part of who I am, if you know me on a personal level. So I have many different personalities really. I have my food personality, my yoga personality, I have my friend personality, and even then I only talk about certain things with the people that I think are going to receive it. But now I'm going to start and make some videos for whoever needs to hear it. So let's talk today a little bit about the Mandela effect. If you haven't heard of it, I'm going to give you a very simple explanation into what happened to me, how I found out about it. So the Mandela effect was termed that because there were two groups of people at a gathering some years ago, and half of the room in their memory thought that Nelson Mandela had died in the 70s. The other half of the room thought that he went on to become president. So they both groups actually believed that theirs was true. So that's why it was called the Mandela effect. Now I'm just going to share my experience back in 2013, I think it was, maybe 14. I went to get out a video from the video shop. I can't remember if there were videos, there were probably DVDs then, but they still had the places you can go and get your video, no Netflix or anything like that. And I got out the movie Sex and the City, and I remember looking at the cover going, oh, they've made a mistake here, it says Sex and the City. How interesting. I never thought any more about it. And then fast forward a few years to 2017, I think it was. I was living in a different place, and somebody caught my attention online and said, this is not the rib cage. It was a photo of the rib cage, and someone said, this is not a photo of the rib cage, this is not a rib cage. And I looked at it and went, that's not the rib cage. I've studied anatomy and physiology. This is not the rib cage. This is much bigger than a rib cage. What is this about? So it got me interested. I went to my anatomy and physiology book, and the picture of the rib cage in my book had changed to exactly the same as this picture that somebody had put on the internet, and it completely blew me away. I then went down a rabbit hole, as you do, and started to look at other things in the body. So someone else had commented in one of those videos, have a look at where the kidneys are. And I thought, well, the kidneys are lower back, you know, you get your kidney warmers in Chinese medicine, and in the yoga that I teach, standing bow pulling pose, I know that when you kick the leg back, you compress the kidney, so you release the leg and the blood flushes the kidneys. The kidneys are not in that same area, sort of lower back anymore, according to, now this was 2017 for me. The kidneys are higher up, and they were never inside the ribcage, they are now. So can you imagine probably what some of you are actually doing right now? And some of you went, that's weird, Norma. So you guys that are going, that's too weird for me, at some point in the future I'm going to remember this, so I'm planting a seed, because my weird right now is going to be your present in the future, right? So the rib cage, the kidneys, and then I looked at the liver, and that was like, this is a joke. It's enormous. The liver's not that big, but it is now. It's huge. And so that's really what started my journey, finding out about the Mandela effect. I even contacted a friend of mine in Melbourne, hi Valentina, who I knew was kind of awake, and I said, have you seen any of this stuff? And she said, do you have Bragg's amino acid, Norma? Because a lot of people that kind of eat healthy always have the Bragg's amino acids. I said, yeah, I've got a bottle in the cupboard. She said, go and have a look at it. And I kept her on the phone whilst I went and had a look at it. And I pulled out the cupboard and went, fuck, it's not Bragg's anymore, it's Bragg. That had changed. So this was the beginning of my Mandela effect journey, and there has been a plethora of other things that have changed. So what is the explanation to this? Some people believe that we have different realities running side by side. I agree with that, actually, because I know people, and I've had a conversation with people, and I'm like, they're in another world. They are in another world. They are in another reality. And we had this whole COVID thing, which I won't go into, but some people were seeing the world this way and some people were seeing that way. We were in different realities. And some people even in relationships with other people, with people in other realities. So it's been a very interesting few years. But what has happened recently, and this is what I really want to talk about, is the last couple of weeks I've noticed there's a lot of people feeling confused. A friend of mine contacted me and said, he's feeling so deeply lonely and alone. And I've seen other people post that as well, and I've experienced that myself. We've went through something else in the last couple of months, and there has been another kind of shift. And I even had a friend call me today and basically say, I just want to hide under a rock. There's a lot going on, guys. Now, the way that I seem to go about life is I seem to go through it before the majority, so that I can explain what I think is happening. And I think this is what's happening, of course, now. We are all going through some kind of awakening. There are procedures in place to stop this or slow it down. One of them being this thing, which hasn't worked, because the reason they keep telling you to get more and more and more is because the body will eventually clean it up. They don't know the intelligence of the body. But I'm not going to get conspiratorial about that. That might be another video. But there is an awakening happening. So what keeps you stuck in these old realities are things like being in fear, negativity, and of course the media is just saturated with bad news. So I pulled myself away from the media a few years ago. I stopped watching television in 2014. I only really watched movies, and even very rarely do I do that nowadays. But the whole media thing, guys, don't go there, because what you're actually doing is you are lowering your vibration, and you're going to stay stuck in that reality, which is exactly what they want. How do you get out to these different realities is to be on a higher vibration. And I don't mean, you're sitting there on a rock going om. That's another thing that keeps you stuck. Be happy. Do something that makes you feel good. Now, what makes you feel good now might not be the same as what made you feel good a few years ago. Don't hold on to the past either. That's going to keep you stuck. Do things that make your heart sing, that make you get butterflies in your tummy, that make you feel joy. That's when you're going to be able to go into these different realities. This is what I experienced about in 2022, 23. I packed up my car, sold what I could, and headed north to live here in the Whitsundays. I had no idea what I was coming to. I had no idea. All I knew was that I needed to get out. I needed change. And I needed not to be influenced by my friends or anyone. I needed to be just with Norma and Bridie Baggins, my guardian angel. That's when things really started to shift for me. So I will do some more videos on this. I'm happy to read your comments, share your experiences too. I think the more people we talk to and share, the better, and the less we feel alone.